Just a disclaimer before we start the video, anxiety is an extremely complex illness, and what might be helpful to one person might not be helpful to another. So this is just my personal experience that I thought I would share with you guys. So first off, I just want to say that I have struggled with anxiety my whole entire life, but as of 6 years ago I was diagnosed with both generalized and social anxiety. And around the time of my diagnosis I started being transparent about it on social media and letting you guys know on all my struggles and victories that I have had with it, and in doing so I've gotten a lot of questions about how I have progressed and kind of conquering anxiety, and so I thought that I would just make this video and just break down a few of the steps and things that I continue to do to try to overcome anxiety the best I know how, in hopes to hopefully help one of you guys. So here we go. One of the very first things I want to cover is the importance of going to therapy. This seems like a cop-out answer on how to get better, but it really is like the number one most essential thing that you can do for yourself. Talking to friends or family members or a significant other about your issues is beneficial. I'm sure they have some great insight on how to potentially help you, but when it comes down to it, if you're actually mentally ill and struggling with an actual anxiety disorder, you're going to need someone who is medically equipped and trained to know how to handle those things. I'm going to be making a whole video covering therapy in the future, but for right now I just want to say that if there's something physically wrong with you, you would be going to a doctor for it, and the same rule applies to mental illness. If there's something mentally off with you, then by all means go see a doctor and get the help that you need. I know that admitting you need help is one of my biggest struggles that I had in seeking therapy. I thought that going was me admitting that I was messed up or weak or I couldn't do it on my own. And there's strength all in just going in itself, but it really has been so helpful to me, and I wouldn't have been able to accomplish half the things I have without therapy. There are things that my therapist knows about me that nobody else knows and might not ever know. And it's just so nice to have like a safe place to go to where there's no judgment or criticism, and you know, they are equipped to handle anything you have to throw at them. So it's been one of like the biggest things for me, and it really is the most essential thing you can do for yourself. So please go to therapy, guys. The next thing I want to cover is changing circumstances that you have control over to change. I know there's such thing as like circumstantial depression or anxiety, and I don't have circumstantial anything, but changing circumstances that do trigger more anxious thoughts in me has helped a lot. For instance, I left public school after my freshman year of high school. High school sucks for everyone, but I think it especially sucked for me. And so by eliminating having to get up and go to school every day, although that didn't cure me of my anxiety, it did make the day-to-day a little bit easier. So for this, I just kind of take a step back and be super objective looking into your life and try your best to identify triggers or situations or people that tend to make you feel more anxious or panicky, and do what you can in those situations to help eliminate any stress, whether that means completely taking yourself out of the situation or compromising in situations where you can't necessarily leave. Anything to make the situation easier while you're in the moment. I know for me, driving gives me an insane amount of anxiety, and unfortunately I'm an adult and I have things to do and places to go, so I don't have the option to just not drive. However, knowing that it brings me anxiety, you know, the first 20 minutes before I go take a car ride somewhere, I'm mentally preparing myself to get in the car and drive. You know, I'm telling myself like, I can do this. Chances are I'm not going to hurt someone and no one's going to hurt me, and I'm going to be able to pick up my sister from school and come home safely, and it's going to be great. So just taking a step back and becoming aware of potential stress or triggers for you and doing what you can to accommodate in those situations to make it easier in the moment are a huge thing. You're not going to be able to eliminate everything. This might be perceived as me telling you that every situation that you endure that stresses you out to just completely eliminate yourself from it and don't ever do it. And I'm not saying that. That kind of brings me into my next point of taking advantage of your strong days. Normally I can tell within the first 5 minutes of waking up if my day is going to be horrible or if it's going to be an okay day, just based off of how I feel right after waking up. If it's a bad day, then take it easy. You don't have to leave the house. Don't force yourself to do anything that you don't want to necessarily. However, if you wake up and you're feeling good, you're ready to take on the world, then I, in the past, have taken those days as days that I try to push myself a little more and do things that make me uncomfortable, knowing that I'm going in with the headspace of feeling a little bit better than I normally do. It's really important to remember that you know your limits better than anybody else. There are so many people in the world that will talk to you and treat you as if they know your anxiety better than you do, and that is not the case. And sometimes it takes getting really upfront and kind of mean in order to, speak your boundaries and say like, hey, I physically can't do that today, or no, like this makes me uncomfortable. You're gonna have to learn how to do that and be okay. It was really hard for me at first. I am a people pleaser, so I'm constantly wanting to make people happy and do what other people want me to do. But after dealing with this for as long as I have, I've kind of just had to get over myself a little bit and learn how to advocate for myself in moments where I'm not feeling okay. I have to be able to voice like, hey, I'm not okay right now, or I can't be here, anything like that. You know your limits better than anyone else, and don't let anyone tell you what you can or what you should be doing, because chances are you already know. Anything regarding mental illness, a lot of the times healing or recovery is completely invisible, and progress is all about baby steps. So from an outside perspective, it might not look like to others that you are accomplishing much. I know I run into that issue all the time of vocalizing that I'm struggling and then someone kind of undermining what I have accomplished and how much I've progressed. So this is another area where you kind of have to be introspective and be really, really aware of what you have accomplished, and most importantly, just like celebrating the little victories. It's fine to give yourself a pat on the back for ordering at a restaurant or driving 5 minutes down the road. That's what this whole entire process is all about for me. And for a lot of times, it's not going to seem that way for other people. People aren't going to understand that it's a huge deal that you just ordered a meal at a restaurant or you paid for it. People aren't going to understand most of the time. But having that introspection and, being aware that, okay, this does give me anxiety, but I just did this and I survived, so like, hooray. It's all about celebration and just enjoying the little things and the victories that might not seem like a big deal, but most definitely are a big deal. Just really feeding into those. And that's kind of my fourth point, is celebrating the little victories, because I feel like with anxiety especially, it is so easy to get caught up in all the things that you have to accomplish or how much farther you need to progress until you're okay again. And it can be really overwhelming. So, part of what has made this so successful to me, I think, is just really celebrating every little thing that I do. Like, every little thing that I do. Getting up in the morning is a celebration. I got out of bed despite feeling awful. Paying at a restaurant or, ordering my own coffee. Like, all those are just celebrations. And if you don't focus on celebrating what you have done and you're solely focused on what you have left to do, then it's kind of a losing battle. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting yourself up to feel like you aren't doing anything or accomplishing everything that you want to. One thing that has helped with me is being able to communicate with people that are really close to me that I trust, and communicating with them and letting them know that, like, hey, driving does give me anxiety. So that way when I drive to Atlanta for the night or, do a long drive, there can be people there that notice me doing that and are able to offer encouragement as well, because I can encourage myself all day long, but when it comes down to it, knowing that someone else is proud of you and is encouraging you just like means the world to me. I would say find like a few select people that are really close to you, that you obviously trust and you can be vulnerable with, including them into a few things that give you anxiety or that are a struggle for you, so that way when they are there, when you accomplish those things, they can be there to tell you like, this is great, you just did the thing and you survived, like, great work. That is one thing that has been super helpful to me. It doesn't happen that often that people are like aware of those things, but when they are aware and when they can just tell me and point out that I just did something that scares me and I survived, like, it means the world to me. and sometimes they notice these things and point them out before I notice the things that I'm doing and can celebrate in myself. So these are just a few things that have really seemed to help with me that I just thought I would share with you guys. It seems like when it comes to anxiety, there's only one thought process of how to deal with it, and that is continuously putting yourself in situations that make you more anxious. And I understand that. The thought process is the more you do it, the more you are rewiring your brain to realize that you aren't going to die when doing something really hard. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for a lot of people, and it doesn't work for me. So this is kind of my own system that I have set up, and my hope is, not really my hope, I've seen the evidence, is just being extremely aware and introspective of yourself and your surroundings, and teaching your mind to cope and handle your thought processes better. So even though you are continuously doing something that does make you anxious and the anxiety isn't getting any better, you at least know how to cope with it better in the moment. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful to at least one of you guys. If you want to give it a big ol' thumbs up below, I would greatly appreciate that, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos, and I will see you guys later. Bye!